This is the latest project from Gavin O'Connor and the second one in a row starring Ben Affleck. The previous one being The Accountant, that I thought was pretty good actually. But this one is a very different movie and these two share almost no similarities. Because the story here follows a former high school basketball star and current construction worker. Someone who's a bit down in the dumps and seems to be struggling with some issues. Well, he is then asked to return to his old school to coach their basketball team. Things sort of go from there in a manner one might perhaps expect. Because let's be honest, we've all seen similar movies before and they all follow a similar arc. And to be frank, I don't care about sports and I don't really know anything about basketball. However, sports movies can still be really compelling and you know what? This one is too. But I would even hesitate to call this a sports movie because it's just not about the game at all. It's not really even about the team. It's a little bit about the team and the people on it, but it's mostly about the main character and his personal struggles. Because this turned out to be much more of a character-driven drama than anything else. And perhaps the most character-driven thing I've ever seen Ben Affleck do. Because in most things he's done, there might be some depth to his character, but it's really all about the plot and the things happening around him. In this though, it's pretty much all about the character and his journey. And I will say that he did a really good job with it too. I had no issues with this performance. But I also liked just about everything else about it too, from the writing that was really solid, to the direction and the editing and how it just ruthlessly skipped over non-essential parts. If something wasn't worth spending several scenes exploring, it just skipped it. And jumped right over to the next important part and just assumed the audience could fill in the gaps. And that definitely prevented this from feeling bloated or unnecessarily long. But at the same time, it wasn't afraid to take its time when it needed to as well. I mean, there are several scenes where it just basically lingers on Affleck while he is trying to figure out some things. So this definitely doesn't rush either, it just takes its time when it's needed and skips ahead when it's not. Another thing it also does very well is that it starts out very simple. Makes everything relatable and easy to understand. It doesn't complicate things for no reason. But then as the movie progresses, it slowly starts adding depth to it. And it really is needed too, because otherwise I'm pretty sure I would have lost interest. And I would have probably ended up criticizing it for a lack of depth too. Fortunately, I don't need to do that here because this actually delivered the goods. And it turned out to be really quite a good movie and a surprisingly toned down and small scale project for Affleck. But a super effective one and the kind of thing I wish he'd take on more often. Oh, and before I wrap this up, I do have to mention the score as well. Because it has this fairly stripped down piano score and I thought it worked really well. It added that emotional punch to it and without it this would have been a lesser film. But yeah, how about it? Would I recommend this? Sure, why not? I definitely think it's worth giving a peek. So maybe do that or maybe don't. After all, I'm not your dad. But hey, what are your thoughts on this? Have you seen it? Did you like it? Let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a thumbs up or sub to the channel because that would be fantastic. And if you'd like, you can also support me on Patreon or PayPal through the links in the description. And as always, I appreciate you and thanks for watching.